shot. Nice approach. Nice approach. For birdie. Perfect shot. Nice approach. Perfect shot. Nice approach. Nice approach. Nice approach.
That's better. If anybody's watching, I doubt there is, because we're on. I'm doing a live stream. I haven't got a huge amount of subscribers, so I think it's very unlikely that there's many people watching. I've just been talking away to myself for approximately 5 to 10 minutes because I didn't have my mic plugged in. It is now, so thanks for bearing with me if you did. I've been talking a lot actually about kind of the match tournament, how it works, how it's different from the old setup, how the stats are now. Sorry, I'll just make sure I hit this. One more and then I'm going to run out of time. Oh dear, I might well end up in the sand here. I've hopefully got a bit of a cushion anyway. I think I'm alright actually. Yeah, we're okay.
Nice.
Yeah, so the old match tournament which I did, I think it was a 1v1 tournament it was called. It would there would be no restriction on stats, and it would have been very difficult for the lower stat players. So what they did, which I think is quite a good thing actually, it was a bit of a shock to the system when it first came in, because they lower your stats right down. You have to kind of relearn, remember how you played. Well, for me, kind of 2 years ago, probably more 3 years ago, with kind of 300-yard driving distance in round one thereabouts, and then it goes up as the rounds progress. So yeah, managed to take that one. The guy I was playing didn't put up too much of a challenge, so sorry if you're watching. But anyway, so we're through round one, and we've now got obviously round two. And just give me one moment there. Sorry about that, I just had my sunburst in. So yeah, trying to remember what I was talking about before when I didn't even have my mic plugged in. It is a lot more, well, it was a lot different than it was. So look at this second round here. We've got a fixed driving distance of 273.4 yards, probably the equivalent of about, I'm guessing about 1600 stats, 1500 stats, something like that. If you watched my video the other day on the winds, you'll know kind of what I was talking about with the way your shot kind of shape changes as your stats increase. And then all of a sudden coming down from playing a sand wedge 180 yards to kind of 100 yards or whatever it is, and it being a kind of really flat shot, so a hugely lofted shot, and that applying to all your clubs, it can be a tricky one. Which for that reason, if you've got low stats, it's a good game to play. Certainly rounds 1, 2, 3, even 4, you can have some success against anyone really, no matter what their stats, because it does level them right out. Right, so I'm playing, it's the high shot here, and I'm going to come back to about there, I believe. It's quite tricky. I would play a backspin shot, but for the reasons I've been talking about, it plays totally different to how it would have done. And he crept off the back there. Plays totally different with this amount of stats than how it would do with my own stats, so I'd need to spend some time kind of relearning, which is quite tricky to do. Luckily he's found the bunker there, so I'm on the green, all being well. Given a nice putt. I should hopefully go one up here. Yeah, I kind of steer clear of the backspin shot altogether on here, because I've had a couple of disasters where it's just flown miles further than I thought it would. Which it's down to the ball being a lot more lofted, and with the spin in the air it'll kind of hang in the air much longer, and with a tailwind it'll just keep on going. But yeah, it's a shot I avoid, certainly with the lower stats. I'm basically going in pretty straight there anyway. I didn't actually watch for a marker there, but I think that should be just about alright. Yeah, not too bad. So one up after one, which I managed in the last round as well. Carries on. The early rounds, as again, I'm not sure if you heard me say or not. I'm not sure when I started when you managed to start hearing my microphone, but in the early rounds, it's all about points really. It's quite tricky for me to talk and play at the same time. It's a bit of a leveler, the way the stats change. But if you come up against, you know, a fairly decent player, 9 times out of 10 it's going to be coming down to points, which is why we're using perfect zone drinks. Or I am. Whilst I've got my full pouch, I'll just use all 4 and then have a look at how the points are. If it's tight, then I'll continue using them if they've been using them as well, if you like. If not, then I'll just stop at that point. But I didn't actually have a look at how the points were after hole 1, but you'll be able to tell if he hits a perfect shot here, which he did. So he's using, and oof, no, he could have been. That would have been a leveler if he had. Alright, so I'll just line that up and knock it in. So 1 up after 2, and as you would have seen on the last hole, it's match play kind of rules. So if I'm 3 up with 2 to play, for example, then the game will stop there. You don't have to play all 6 holes that it gives you. Alright, so again, this can be a leveler. There's a potential albatross if you've got the stats, but I'm not sure, haven't quite got enough. So essentially I'm just going to hit it towards the front of the bunker. I didn't actually check to see if he was using the drinks or not, so I'll use my last one, and we'll see where we are for points after this. This is, even for lower stats players, I think this is probably the first hole that you'll get the chance to albatross. It's a very short par 5. It's a bit of a daft par 5 really, because as soon as you can reach over here, it's even a short par 4 to be honest. But I'm going to play a flop here, despite the fact it's kind of comfortably within chipping distance, just to give it that little bit extra loft to get over. Because what I don't want to do is catch the front and kind of leave it up short. So that should be about right, I think. I might just catch the fringe and roll on, which wouldn't be too bad because it's going slightly downhill to the hole. And you notice I went well left of the pin. That's because the break of the green is leaving it that way. Yeah, that was too short, as I kind of suspected. But it shouldn't be too bad a putt from there.
Eagle try.
Yeah, it's a tricky one actually, just this initial slope. So I'll take a bit of time lining it up. If that had been, that's a terrible line. If that had been kind of 0.5 feet and up above the hole, it would have been a lot harder, but as it is, as I've lined it up, that's a really not a good result. So I'm just going to take a bit of time lining this up, and there's a decent chance I'll miss this, but let's see. Yeah, as I thought. Now it did look as though he's actually disconnected. Now he's back on, so that should tie it up. So a bit more interesting now. and I'll have a look at how the points are. I might regret not using a perfect drink on that last shot. That was really just careless. I should have comfortably hit it well past there, but I was kind of thinking about just clipping the fringe and rolling it down towards the hole. As it was, it didn't clip the fringe, it actually clipped the fairway. And obviously you saw the results, which was pretty poor. So he's actually ahead now, as he's been using juice every shot. So that's a real challenge now. I'm going to cross the fingers. The only other hole I can potentially pull this back, I would say, is the second par 5, which is I should use my drink, shouldn't I? Which is nowhere near albatross distance, and it's quite a tricky one to get the green into to give you the eagle chance. So potentially I could pull it back there, but to be honest, if this guy's worth his salt, he should really win this game. Well, let's find out. So I'm gonna hopefully roll a little bit to the right, but not too far. And again, I really want to be putting it within the 2.1 yards for that extra point, but it's quite a tricky one to do from here, especially with that 4-yard wind behind. It's hard to judge because it'll not have so much effect because we're quite close, but with a flop shot it can do a little bit more than you'd expect. Let's just have a look.
Perfect shot.
Oh, a bit too far past, so again
Nice
missed that
approach.
extra 1 point, which could be crucial. We'll see what he does. He's actually just missed the nice approach as well, so he's got 1 extra point for his approach. I've got 2. If I put it even closer, I would have had 3, which would have cut the deficit a bit more. He's put his birdie putt in nicely. And I will hope to do the same. The 5th hole in kind of the World Championship, etc., when you've got some stats, is often a leveler to a certain extent because it's an eagleable par 4, as is this one actually. This one's a bit easier. The 5th hole is you've got to kind of bounce it short of the green and roll on, and it's quite easy to misjudge. So potentially, if we both had more stats, there might be a better chance of me pulling this back, but that's not really going to happen due to the reduction in stats. So I'm going quite short here. I don't want to go in the bunker because the pin's at the back, so I won't have the distance to make it there. So I'm just going to, in fact I might just go a little bit further right, because I don't want to hit that bunker there. I think he might have gone in the bunker, which might make it a bit tricky for him a second shot. So let's see. I'm going to hit it a bit under 100% because there's no real worry about being short here. I think wherever I go round about where it's landing there, that should be floppable. But I've done exactly what I didn't want to do and gone in the bunker. It's actually not too far away, 33.8. I can make that, so I misjudged that completely anyway. But he's done the same, so we should really both end up with the same result here again. All things being equal. So let's see how this goes. So presuming I lose this, which looks likely at the moment, I'll give it one more go, and if I lose that one, I'll just stop the stream. But what I wanted to do, actually, the main reason I'm streaming tonight is on Sunday night I am going to I'm going to be streaming a Brick Drivers tournament, Brick Drivers Guild. We're playing a kind of last man standing. Plan is, I think we've got around about 20 participants, so we will have 2 rounds going simultaneously, 2 kind of qualifiers or semi-finals if you like, top 2 in each. We're going to go through into a 4-ball final, and we're going to play Waikiki, probably first tee for the first game, and then potentially the 6th tee I think for the final. So if nothing else, it'll be interesting. I'm hoping for some fun. It should be quite good. Now this was the hole I was talking about that potentially would be a leveler. You'll notice I hit it quite long. I'm hoping I make it over the bunker, and yeah, that's not a bad position to be in. I could have been a bit braver, but the worst thing I want to do is to end in the rough there, because I would have no approach in. As it stands, I've got an approach. The pin's in a tricky position. So anything that ends up on the green here I'll be happy with. I don't really want to go too far past the pin because it's a big downhill slope. I don't want to play a 5 wood, that'll get caught up in the wind too much. So I'm just going to go slightly over that. And that should be somewhere near. Fingers crossed, let's see what happens. Nearly missed the perfect kink there, which might be crucial, but let's get a nice bounce. Could have been better, but it looks like it's a bit better than him. So, but to be honest, there's a good chance we'll both miss these putts. I'm going to have a tricky putt. He's also got a tricky putt. Both downhill putts, really difficult to judge, especially with that shot clock on you. 30, 35 seconds, whatever it is. Doesn't give you a lot of time to think about it, so a lot relies on you lining your initial put up correctly, which obviously I didn't do at all on the first albatross hole there, the first par 5 I should say. I mean, I'm closer than him. Potentially it might be a bit straighter. I've got a feeling this is going to break quite heavily right to left my putt. This will be doing something similar. Very close, but he's missed it, which does open the door for me, but yeah, it's a tricky one this. So I'm going to try and take as much time as possible this time. 1.2 foot down, it means it's gonna, I'm gonna hit it really soft, therefore that break's gonna really take. So I want a bit of luck and hopefully an educated guess to get it somewhere close to my initial lineup. Didn't really do that. So a lot of luck involved here. What I'm going to do is move it a bit over to the right and then just overhit it a bit and cross my fingers. It's just mostly a guess. So let's just do that and see what happens. And it has gone in. Would you believe it? Okay. So that was a lot of hit and hope. So sorry luck dude, because you played just as well as me there, but I just got the lucky break at the end. So still without a loss somehow. I need to try and concentrate a bit more because should have been a lot more comfortable than that after he gave a shot away on the first hole. But I gave it back to him, made it a bit more interesting. So as we move on to round 3, we're still limited in driving distance, but not quite as much. But again, you've still got a decent chance. I think if you've got 2,000, 2,500 stats, you're pretty even until you get certainly up to the quarterfinals. It's given us a fixed driving distance of 328 yards now, and we get obviously a choice of these courses: Sawgrass out, in; Whitecliff out or in. We just had Whitecliff in last time. Let's see what we get this time. So we've got Derek Morton. That looks like a Chelsea tattoo, is it, on his back? I'm not sure. They might be from this country, from the UK. Obviously a lot of this depends on what time of day you play as well. I'm playing at UK time, 7:30 it is at the moment. So there's probably a few UK players around. Yeah, he is. If you play later on in the evening in the UK, we'll start getting the US guys coming in from work and playing. And if you play in the middle of the night, you've got all the Far East fellas. Not sure who I'd rather play, to be honest, but anyway. Right, so I am going to pretty much... Yeah, that's not going to do it actually. I'm going to change my mind and play a high shot. It's really tricky actually. If you change your mind, because you get so little time, you've really got to try and operate quickly, and you don't get many chances to hit your mark. So I've got one more chance, and I've just got to take it. So it's gone a bit hard, and this could easily go off the back. This is where the shot clock really makes a difference. I'm hoping that's fine. That's okay. Ooh, no, it's not. Yeah, so it's skipped on. So a mistake on the first hole. Not good. But it does give us a chance to put an extra perfect shot in. Benefit of that being, if I do manage to pull it back, I should hopefully be up on on points, I should say, excuse me. So there's always that, I suppose. I'm going to just go a bit further right here. It's really tricky with a short chip to hit the line bang on, so I'm just going to get it somewhere close, hopefully in the 2 more tries, I think. That'll do. I'll have to do. And missed it. So if it had gone in, then unfairly, really, I would have been ahead on points. So only fair that he gets the tap in for the lead. And there's no, you know, ordinarily I'd be thinking, well, I can pull it back with an albatross on 3 or 5 or 6, or eagles on 4 and 5. But because we're essentially driving exactly the same distance, it is just coming down to skill. And I'm being outskilled at the moment by Derek Morton. Making his time over his putt. That's comfortably straight down the middle. So you'll see the difference in points here, although I'm down by 1 shot. I'm actually only 7 points behind, which means all things being equal, if I birdie and he pars, or if I eagle and he birdies, that would put me just ahead on points. But that's a big if. As we've seen, I only just scraped through last round, so it's an inauspicious start certainly of this. I do still have 1 ticket in hand if I'm going to make it to the final, but again, that's a big if at the moment. Let's just see how we get on. I think I'm kind of erring on the side of under-hitting it.
Perfect shot.
Rather than over-hitting it. Let's see where it ends up. And yeah, on the green,
Nice
but
approach.
tricky putt, I think, from there. What I was hoping for is just to catch that fringe a bit more and roll kind of short of the hole, because it's very much downhill from here.
Perfect shot.
He's gone a little bit past, so he
Nice
missed his kind of perfect approach. But if I put this in, he'll actually have the points advantage, I would have thought, because he put the extra perfect shot in. Let's just see. So this is hopefully one I'd be nailing. It's a bit of a better lineup anyway. Right, and so I would hope that would be okay. Yeah. So I managed to pull it back, but I think he'll have the points advantage based on that extra perfect shot that he's played there. That's actually even, because I suppose I had the extra perfect shot last time. So back to even Stevens. We might well have the distance to make the Albi here. Let's find out. Yeah, we have. So the pin's at the back. So the caution here is you don't want to land it in the bunker, you want to land it here. So I'm thinking round about there is probably about right. Maybe slightly more. It's quite, again, with the change in stats, it's really difficult to judge, because that drive is going to be much more lofted than it was, or than it is, excuse me, when I play with my usual stats. So hopefully, yeah, we've got the bounce just about right, and we got her within a nice approach. +3 points. He's done exactly the same, pretty much. So let's see if I can make my putt here last time after messing it up last time. Not so much break because it's uphill. That's okay. If you see it clipping the hole, it's quite easy to change the lineup from there, and then it's just all about hitting the line, which can be a challenge. As I'm getting older, I seem to find it more and more difficult to catch this line bang on. Used to even not even think about it, just hit it, but I have to kind of have a good think about it now. That didn't look too bad. Yeah, it's okay. So I would hope to be making that putt, but after the last game, I missed one very easy one, so nice to get that one out of the way. I've actually noticed there's 10 people watching. To be honest, I thought I would just do this and it kind of records and people could watch it back afterwards. So hello if you're watching. You're not seeing a great display so far. There's Danielle. Hello Danielle. That's our guild leader, Danielle Story, watching. Straight Shooter. Danny the Beast is here. Hello Straight Shooter. And someone called BHYBHY1. So again, no chance of an eagle here.
Perfect shot.
Just going to hit it, make sure I avoided that bunker essentially. That's actually not far away from eagle distance, but I don't think I would have made it on the green if I'd gone for it, and there was a chance I would have hit that bunker, so I think that was the right shot. I'm going to... This is probably going to roll past the pin.
Perfect shot.
But that'll do. I'm happy with that. Could be all the difference that actually, unless I'm not sure where he's ended up. But yeah, so unless he's lucky, as I was, or he is as well. Oh, that makes it more interesting again. So we're all tied. So you might actually see, if we make it all tied after 6, it comes down to, as I think I mentioned before, I might not have my microphone plugged in. It goes down to nearest the pin. Oh, sorry, it goes down to first on the green. Excuse me. So I would normally draw this, but with that wind, I'm not going to. So essentially, first on the green gets an extra half a point, which can make a big difference. Well, it can make all the difference essentially. If you're tied after 6 holes, point for point, then that extra half point, you're going to guarantee somebody's going to win. So it's going to be a bit of a lottery who's going to get on the green first. But let's see how I did with that. I want to bounce over to the right a bit, and oh dear, that might roll off actually. Sometimes it could have rolled off to the right there. There's a big slope. Managed to hold the green. That's a more difficult chip he's got here. Mind you, the last one I was very lucky getting mine in. Obviously, Derek Morton did a great shot to put his in, but not this time, which gives us a chance to go ahead, but it's going to be a tricky putt. Yeah, a lot of break. Right to left. I'm going to be going around about here, I think. And that's not too bad. Anywhere near the hole gives you a chance to line it up properly. So let's see if I can nail this one. I'm guessing somewhere around there. Not bad. There's a decent chance this is going to go in, but it's not. You can tell straight away as soon as it gets close to the hole, if it's going to go in, the camera will stop tracking you. So that actually puts him ahead on points. So this is one I'm going to lose unless I can somehow do something special on the last hole or he makes a mistake. Let's see what happens. So again, with the way the point system works, because he was off the green and he took another perfect shot, I missed a putt and got 0 points for that. That'll put him comfortably ahead on points now, probably 6 or 7 points clear, I would have thought. 7 points, yeah. So it's all down to the last hole. It's tied for score, but not for points. So I don't think I'll have enough nowhere near to make the green there. So I'm going to play very similar to what we did in the last round. I'm just going to try and land it, maybe flirt with the edge a little bit more, just to give me that little bit extra, but it's quite easy to land in this bunker that I'm just past there, so I'm going to go a bit further to the left there actually.
Perfect shot.
And God, when I say it's quite easy to go in that bunker, that's pretty much round over, I think. I'll obviously carry on, but I think we might find that Derek's got the victory. Well played, Derek, if you watch this back.
Perfect shot.
You never know, he might have gone in the bunker as well, but for some reason I doubt it. Let's just see. Right, so we're going to... I'm just going to try and basically bounce it between the bunkers and roll on here. 1, 2, 4, I'm going to go probably around about here. And a lot of finger crossing. Don't really know why I'm using the juice, to be honest, the perfect drink, because if I do win it, it's not going to come down to points. Oops. Just noticed the time there. I was just looking at my other screen. I think I just got away with that.
Perfect shot.
Probably hit it a bit hard. Yeah, that's not a good shot. So, really,
Nice on.
my team's took 5, so I've got a chance with
Birdie
a
try.
horrible putt. If I'd done a bit better there, I actually would have had a chance to win this. You never know. I'll play my putt. I got a bit of a hidden hope on the last one. We'll maybe get something similar here. Lineup's very similar. So I'm going to do something similar to that I did last time. Not spend a lot of time lining it up. Overhit it a bit and cross the fingers. I think that's probably going to miss to the right. I think it overhit it a bit too much. Yeah, no, actually underhit it. There you go. It was a bit of a lottery. So unless Derek misses this one, which doesn't look likely, then he wins on points. So that was actually a big chance, to be honest. I thought that was game over when I went in the bunker, but in actual fact it wasn't. If I'd spent a bit of time on that approach into the green, I could have done a lot better there, but never mind. So that gives us essentially 1 loss, which means I can continue. If I lose the next one, I'll just stop at that point. But yeah, see what happens. So yeah, again, I think as I said, oh, he's actually missed it. Would you please? Somebody's on my side. I don't know if he's watching my stream and feeling sorry for me. So sorry, Derek. I don't think I deserve that, but there you go. I'm giving a sad face. I don't think I get the chance to do that. Again, Derek, sorry. He did say thank you. Seems like a pleasant chap. So it's going to be an inauspicious, if anyone's watching this back, obviously it gets archived on YouTube, so people can watch it back at any point. And I would imagine that there's not going to be too many people impressed so far. Hopefully I can do something. I did have a decent chip in actually, but so did Derek on that one. Let's see. I'm just going to say hello to a couple of you guys on the chat. I'm surprised that there's people watching. Again, I thought I've got kind of 600 subscribers, most from the US, from America, so I would have thought that most of you guys would be at work at the moment, but obviously not. Right, so it's getting a bit more interested with the driving distance. Didn't see what that was, but it's going to be up to about 350 yards, I would have thought. Again, still got plenty chance of competing if you're low on stats. Once you get to the semi-finals, again, you're really struggling unless you're hitting kind of 3,000 plus stats. You're going to come up against some players, and not just the players, the holes you're playing are going to be really difficult without those stats. So if you're playing somewhere like Rolling Hills from the 5th tee, trying to play that with 2,500 stats, you're going to really be up against it if you're against someone with kind of 3,000, 4,000 stats. That's just the way of the game. But I mean, it's a good little earner, this this tournament. If you can get to the final and win it, I think you get a total of about 370 coins, which coins aren't quite as valuable as they used to be, but still worth having. Alright, I'm just gonna, you'll notice I'm not playing a high shot here. I think the percentage shot is just to try and catch the fairway at the front and roll it onto the green most of the time. Really having trouble hitting the line tonight though. I'm going over every time. One more. That's better. Can hit the last time when I actually concentrate.
Perfect shot.
And obviously the reason I'll play like a flatter shot such as that is it'll be affected less by the wind. Wasn't such a good one with the power, I just overhit it. But it would have been, with a high shot, that would have moved a lot more in the wind and been harder to judge the line. As it was, I got the line pretty much bang on. Just got the power wrong, but good enough. Well, certainly good enough for birdie. Not good enough for any extra points for the approach. It does give you 1 point for a long putt. I think you get an extra 1 point for a miracle long putt, so anything over about 13 or 14 yards now. Somebody's saying there, Richard, you lucky boy, you're not wrong, mate. Both games, to be honest, I think I've been pretty lucky in. This is the 4th game now, so yeah, certainly games 2 and 3 I expected to lose, somehow managed to make it this far. So again, Somebody must be deciding while I'm streaming it. We might as well not make it end so quickly. So this is one where you need to be really careful putting it around about here with high stats, because your lofted clubs go so much lower. But with these stats that I've got, you can put it really at the bottom of the hill and get over those trees that you see on the front of the green quite easily, which obviously makes this shot completely different. I mean, if I was playing this with big stats, I'd be hitting it onto the green. 522 yards again sounds crazy, but that's just the way it works. So that should put us within kind of a wedge distance, hopefully. 124.6 yards. Yeah, it's actually, with these stats, I've actually hit that a bit close, but I think I should just about have enough loft to get over here. Hope so anyway. So because it's above me, I'm going to go a bit past it. Bit of finger crossing here, simply because I'm not sure about the loft of this shot at all. We'll soon find out. I think I need to go a bit further right as well, just a touch. Now I'm hoping, it's quite a high tree there, I'm just hoping it gets over it, but only one way to find out. I think it has, yeah. So that was a bit touch and go, but as it stands, I've got within 5.4 yards. I didn't actually again check the points after the first game, so I'm not sure if this guy's using the perfect drinks. To be honest, once you get up to the quarterfinals, you tend to find they're going to be. So you have to. It's just the way of the game again. So I've got to make the money somehow, but there's no real need to spend real money on this game once you start. So for instance, after this, I should have an extra 200-300 coins, so I could go out and buy 150 perfect drinks if I wanted. So it's not necessarily money, but it's in-game currency you're going to be spending. And I guess if you spend enough of it, you can top it up with your own money if you want to. So we're fairly even here. Let's see how we are for points. Bang on even for points. So we've got another tight one. So the last couple of games I've made some glaring errors, so I'm going to try and avoid them this time. I'm going to play a low shot here. Again, affected less by the wind. It'll skip on up that hill quite a lot more than a power shot would. You might see the difference if that's the shot he plays.
Perfect shot.
Let's just see where I end up and where he ends up. So that should be a fairly regulation, probably wedge into the green again. I've gone down to 6 watching. I was quite surprised when I saw 10. Hello all 6 of you. I've just got a message flashing up on my phone at Danielle, the leader's just tagged me in a post on our Facebook group, so I might have a few of these guys dropping in shortly. But yeah, again, the main reason I'm going to keep... Oh, I've forgotten to play. Hang on a second. No time to line this up, sorry. I hope that, when I said I hope I don't make any glaring errors, I think I might have just got away with that one, although that's hit me for points. I was just busy looking at my phone. Oh dear. So that's definitely going to put him ahead on points, unless he's kind of missed a perfect shot or something, which is unlikely. But it could have been worse. Any kind of mistake there with regards to, well, basically if I missed my shot completely, that's, well, hole over, and you get no points. So even if you tie it up again, you're going to have lost out on points. So essentially it's like losing 2 shots. So that would have been bad. It wasn't great, but would have been a lot worse. There's Steve. Hello Steve. He's saying boo on the chat. I don't know if that's boo as in yikes or boo as in get off, you crap. I think it's probably the latter. Right, so 4 yard following wind. I'm going to hit it round about there, I think.
Perfect shot.
Bit too hard, but could have been worse. Again, missed the nice approach. I think I'm really struggling for points here. Unless he does something similar.
Perfect shot.
No, he hasn't. So yeah, again, I'm gonna lose this one. I think I keep saying that, and somebody keeps coming up to save me. Let's see what happens this time. Alex, okay. A bit better. So what have we got? We've got the 5th, which is a possible eagle, and the 6th, which I don't think will have the distance to albatross, but probably would be able to hit it quite close for a comfortable eagle. I think probably the 5th is going to be my best chance to pull a shot ahead. I haven't checked. Let's just check the points now. I've got a feeling he's going to be at least 5 or 6 points ahead after my 2 points actually. So a couple of perfect approaches. You never know. But yeah, he's got the advantage at the moment. Right, so definitely an eagle chance here. I'm wondering if I could sky it. I potentially could with that wind. I'm tempted to go for that shot. There's a lot of guesswork involved in the sky shot for me. Percentage shot is to hit the tree and roll it on, but to be honest, I'm going to try a sky shot. Why not? You guys who use it a lot might be saying, no, you've got it completely lined up wrong. I know Danielle likes a sky shot, but I don't know. Let's just hit it. I always hit a sky shot full. I don't think it really makes much difference in where it ends up, and if you hit it less full, you'll get less loft and it'll roll more. So what's going to happen? Get on. Oh, it was close. But this potentially could be a chance to tie it up. If I was to chip this in, that would actually, I think, put us certainly even on points, possibly ahead. But it's a big if. Just kind of line it up best I can. Let's say something like that, hitting it plenty hard. Don't want to underhit this.
Perfect shot.
Oh, I thought that was in for a second. So unless he misses this putt, then I think it doesn't look like a missable putt, to be honest. I think that's one ticket down. Yeah, well done, One Chong 92. So what are we? 8 points behind. So if I was to, well, to be honest, even if he misses the green and I make an eagle, then he's going to play a perfect drink shot, and he's going to get the extra points for that. So really can't see a way of us winning this unless I'm, well, let's see. We had a miracle on the last couple. I think my luck might have run out this time. I think what I did when I did the match tournaments earlier, I've overhit that as well, you know. Oh dear, that's awful. He's done the same as well. That would have actually been a big chance. As it stands, that's just basics, Swanson. Yeah, as I was actually just saying, when I did my first match tournament or 1v1 tournament videos, I just did the voiceover afterwards and actually concentrated on playing the bloody game. First and foremost, I think that might be the thing to do, looking at this. But you know, I think it's probably quite interesting watching people fail badly. You know, it does quite well on the internet these days. Alright. So, I mean, he was in the rough as well, so I guess there's a chance he might have done worse than me getting out of it. Not quite sure. I did manage to get on the fairway, but I've got a big right-left on this one. I want to make sure I hit it hard enough, but yeah, I'm not much idea where this is going to go, to be honest. This is where the shot clock really comes into its own. Stop. Yeah, he's done better than me there as well.
Nice
so
approach.
Well beaten by One Chong 92, I think this time. I'll attempt to put this in anyway. You never know, he might disconnect or something. See if God's really on my side. I could have switched down to a short putter there, probably should have done. I've kind of lost this anyway, to be honest. So that's, I had the chance there. In actual fact, though, you'll find even if I'd hit the fairway, hadn't rolled into the rough, he'd got on there for 4, then I would have lost anyway, because he would have an extra perfect shot, and I would have lost on points. So, you know, that's comfortably in this time. Well done, one chong. So still at the quarter-final stage. What time is it? 2 minutes past 8. I'll try and be done by 9, because we'll have our video games at 9 o'clock. I think one way or the other. Certainly if I lose the next one, that's it. If I win the next one, that'll be me in the semis with 2 more games. So yeah, one way or the other, I'll be done in the next kind of half an hour or so, I think. How many people's left? Back to 7. I've gained an extra viewer. Yeah, Steve P2 and get off your crap. I thought that's what it was. Yeah, I keep starting to say Sunday night 8 o'clock we're going to have a guild tournament, so 2 matches of kind of qualifiers, if you like, or semi-finals at Waikiki 1T, hopefully with 10 players in each. Hello Simon. And the final is going to be a 4-ball, and with my miracle technology I'm hoping to stream it using a split screen. I've had a bit of practice with it. It seems to work quite well with using 2 different emulators and putting 2 windows into OBS. And ideally I'll get knocked out before the final, because it's really hard, as even here you can see. It's tricky to play and talk and all that at the same time. What am I doing here? What tee are we on? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to fade this, sorry. I'm just again trying not to fail miserably. What I'm going to do is just make sure I've got the loft with a 3 wood and whack that up there somewhere. Yeah, so first round Waikiki 1T and final at Waikiki 6T. So if nothing else, it's going to be entertaining. I think you'll see some. We're going to allow items. Points won't count. So yeah, we should hopefully see some better scores than we've seen. I've done a couple of videos from Waikiki where you saw some pretty poor scores. That was no items, so because we've got some items on, putting guides, etc., especially, then we'll hopefully see less kind of 2-yard missed putts, which happen quite a lot when you've got greens like a mountain range.
Perfect shot.
Oh, that's loose. I should really be putting that within 2.1 yards, but
For birdie.
I didn't, and I think he did, so I'm up against it again. And Sequoia, is that how you say it? Sequoia, however you say it, is a real level. Even at the best of times, it doesn't, certainly from the lower tees, it doesn't really favour your high stat players. I think this is 5th tee, so you know it does, but I think by the look of it, Simon's got a decent bit of driving distance on him. And he's, well, I'm ahead on points, so for him to get to the quarterfinals and not be using the perfect drink unless he's missed one, it's a bit unusual. Right, so this one I've got a helpful wind. I'm gonna be doing a lot of guesswork as to exactly where to hit it, but I'm thinking somewhere around here. There's a really steep bank up to the pin, as you'll know if you've played this before, so I want to just be catching the fairway and landing on the green. I'm not playing any kind of oh, it's a bit tight with that tree. I'm going to come back in a little bit. I'm going to power shot it as well. Sorry, oh, I'm running out of time again. Oh dear. Right, no time to think about where I'm hitting it. That's where it's going.
Perfect shot.
Yeah, we're wanting to catch that bit of fairway in the front, but I've come way short of it. I'm just going to roll down into the bunker there. I want it to be a lower loft club because there's a much better chance of it hitting and rolling on, but A, I didn't give myself much chance to think about it, and B, I was a bit worried about that tree, so erring on the side of caution, which is usually a good idea at Sequoia. Hit the tree and that's the end of the chances on that hole. As it turns out, I put it within
Nice approach.
1.6 yards, and hopefully a fairly regulation putt for birdie, and he's just outside the 2.1, so therefore should be getting up on points again. Richard's asking, do you see any points in saving hearts? Yes, now, because you need them to play things like goodwill games. Like Danielle said, the other guild boss, she organises the games every night, and it costs, I think it's 6 hearts each time. So if that's what you mean by saving hearts, the other thing I guess you could mean is, would you use them for the double chance at the end of the round if you got VIP? The answer to that is yes, if it's worth it. So if you've got a good score, I think I just click on it out of habit most of the time, but if you've played 3 holes and it's kind of a 1,000 double chance, then I wouldn't bother. But if you've got like 6,000 from the first round, then yes, because you're going to get another 6,000 GP. That's probably the best answer I'd give to that, I think. Right, so high fade. This is, with that wind, going to come back quite a lot. And we're just hoping it doesn't go in the sand here. Could easily go off the back as well, depending on the bounce we get, but I'd rather overhit than underhit here, I think. Nice bounce, hopefully. And stop, and stop, and stop. That'll do nicely. Obviously using the contours of the green. The high fade's definitely the shot to play there most of the time. Just because if you can't hit it where I did there, it's going to pull the ball around to where the pin often is at the back right. Straight shooter saying, if you miss a putt against Danny, you will lose every time. I think we proved that's not the case in the last game. Anyway, let's try and make sure of this one, because this could be me going ahead, which obviously what we all want. Not all of us, I'm sure. Oops, it would help if I chose the right putter. Bit underhit actually, just about made it. With the uphill putts, you do get a little bit more margin for error. If that had been a downhill putt and I'd missed the line by that much, the putt would have missed with that much break. Straight shooter, do you shape your shots, sir? I don't know what that means. I'll be honest. If you can explain what that means, I'll try and answer it. There's a chance actually this will still roll off despite the fact I'm way short, because it is downhill, so I'm just going to underhit it by about 98-99%. I'd rather be short than long here for obvious reasons.
Perfect shot.
Yeah, I could have hit that full blast. I think that's probably what Simon Lorim did, so he's got a slight advantage in distance here. Back up to 8 watching. I think the BBC are going to be wondering what's happened to all their viewers tonight. It's because everyone's watching this. Right, so all I'm doing here, I want to make sure I land on the green. The wind and the contours should hold it up. It's quite easy to go off the back still though, so I'm kind of toying with the idea of, well, no time to think about any other shots. I've only got 13 seconds left, so I'm not toying with any ideas. I'm hoping I haven't underhit that.
Perfect shot.
Ooh, that's okay, that's okay. Anything that pitched
Nice
front of the
approach.
green is going to always slow down enough. There's a big hill for it to go up, so that's good enough. Again, doing a lot better for points here, so even if I was to drop a shot, I would still be ahead on points. So in reality it's more like being 2 up. Oh dear, I'm down to 2 watching. Oh, back up to 4. Hey, this is brilliant, this. Oh, that's a nice putt, Simon. Well done. There's my clap button. See, Stephen, I'm doing the clap. Right. Okay, so 1 up with 2 to play, I think. Yep. So if I could win this one, then that would be game over. If I was to lose it, then I would be ahead on points with an exciting last hole to play. Right, I'm going to play a percentage shot here, which is ordinarily to fade it. Actually, I don't think that is a percentage shot at the moment. I think I'm going to play a low shot instead. which is, oh god, I'm all over the place. Change your mind again. I'm going with a fade. Your first idea is usually the best, isn't it? That's what they say. So let's stick it up here somewhere, and a lot of finger crossing. I'm gonna more than likely hit the tree in front. It looks like he's round there anyway. The reason the phase the percentage is because you're taking the front tree out of the equation totally. Yeah, that's okay. I'm happy with that. If I'd gone the other way, I need to try and remember kind of what loft it's going to have, if I'm going to hit the tree or not, and no time to think about that sort of thing. So there's actually a decent chance of it albatross chip in here, which would be nice. I haven't checked the points, but I'm going to not bother with the juice because you're a waste, I think.
Perfect shot.
That'll do. Yep, I'll hit the perfect shot anyway. So that's game over. So semi-finals, no tickets in hand, as in I can't afford to lose any. But you got to get to see me get as far as the you got to see me get as far as the semi-finals anyway. And there's another 70 coins in the bank. Still waiting for Straight Shooter to tell me what "do you shape your shots, sir" means. I don't know, Straight Shooter. I don't know. Right. I'm not gonna, as I was mentioned before, saving hearts. And I haven't used those extra ones there because I think I had about 1,000 a couple of weeks ago, and they've gone down to 600 odd. They're more of a currency, I think, than they were. Anyway, right. So I think it's the semi-final. Yeah, it is. So this is where the courses get much harder. You'll be getting one of Copper, of Rolling Hills, Aztec, or I think Waikiki's probably in the rotation now. Thank you, Richard. It was a nice albatross. I was quite pleased with that. Although I should have really got on the green for it to be a lot of luck involved with the chips. Right, Dan Kim 19. Sands is the other one we could get. There you go. There it is. Sands is probably the easier of the 4 or perhaps 5 courses. If Waikiki's on there, you might get in the final. But they'll throw in big wins now. Let's have a look. So 4 yards, but it'll go potentially up to 5 and 6 yard the wind here. So a lot of it's about who can cope best with that. So hopefully me. Let's find out. So I'm going to come back round about here. I'm mostly just guessing. I could play a backspin shot here, and I probably should, but I'm not going to start rethinking it. That's a recipe for disaster. If I get a nice bounce, it might be okay. Stop, 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 stop. That won't be too bad a putt though, actually, or potentially chip. From there, it's normally pretty flat. I'm going to put this. I should probably chip it for points, but it just looks a lot easier to put, to be honest. And there's a chance the chip's going to veer away one side or the other, so let's just put that in, hopefully. Yeah, that's okay. So not so good for points. Probably within the percentage shot to have chipped that. And then even if I missed it, I'd have a points advantage. But as it turns out, he didn't get a birdie, so I'm ahead after 1. And again, a 4 yard wind. What tee are we here? I think we're 5th. Have a look behind me. Yeah, there's another tee behind me. We're actually 4th tee. So I kind of know my distances quite well from the 5th tee, but not so much from the 4th. So again, there's going to be a bit of guesswork involved. I'm going to try something like that. Big wind. The wind's going to bring it right over. I think there's well, it's probably either going to go right off the back or be short up front. I'm not sure which, to be honest. Only one way to find out. I'm sure there's a lot of these, the professionals would have a much better method than that of working out what's going. Yeah, it's going to be short. Oh no, it got a nice bounce. Just made it on the green.
Nice.
And there's people who map out the courses and they have a bit of paper with all the distances on and different winds, etc. But I've never played like that, so there's a lot of hit and hope. A lot of it kind of fairly educated because I've played so much, but still a lot of hit and hope. And bad putting lining up. And again, you've got like the counting method for putting. I've never done that. I could be a lot better player if I did, I'm sure, but yeah, won't be bothered. Right. So I've got 13 seconds, not long. I've got to hit this. I'm going to hit it full on. I didn't even check the what it was suggesting I hit it at. I think I've missed it to the left quite comfortably. Yeah, that wasn't a good putt at all. To be honest, if I don't line up my initial shot right and I go with a guide, I used to spend ages kind of sitting trying to get a finger width and work out the distance, but I just can't be bothered. See what happens. So this will put him, he's got a nice approach there as well, so I would imagine if he wins this, he would probably be ahead on points. If I had chipped that last shot on the first and put it in, that probably would have been ahead on points. So that's kind of what I was getting at there. Well done, Dan Kim. So yeah, head by 3. So again, we're up against it. I'm not sure if we'll have the distance for the Albie. I think we probably should for the Albatross on the 4th. So to be honest, every hole is a potential mine. What's the word? Potential tripping point, something like that. I don't know. Right. Again, I'm going to high shot this and hope that that wins enough to stop it rolling off the back. I think I'll be enough to get over the trees. I would normally, to be honest, just play a percentage shot into the trees. With a headwind, I do like to try and play the high shot, and it's worked on this occasion. Could have been a bit more attacking going after the pin, but the number one thing, it's not a particularly vicious green, this one, very benign, so just getting it on the green's the main thing. And oh, Dan Kim's not made that, so got a chance to get another shot, or get a shot ahead, unless he puts this bunker shot in. I say he, could be a she. Dan Kim. Kim's a girl's name, Dan's a boy's name. Although Kim is a boy's name in Korea, isn't it? So I think it's probably a boy, despite the fact he's dressed up like a girl. But so am I. Who am I to talk? I do like to dress up like a girl as well.
Nice approach.
Right. No, this isn't doing a lot. I'm just going to do the guide here. Yeah, that's bang on as it stood. So I'm just going to hopefully hit the line thereabouts, and that should be back in front. And I think the 4th should be an albatross opportunity, probably for both of us. I'm not sure what stats. Didn't notice what distance Dan Kim was hitting. It made the green quite comfortably on the 2nd, so probably have the distance to make the green here as well. But we've got a 6-yard headwind in our faces. Actually, I haven't got enough distance to make the green here, I don't think. It's going to land in the sand in front, but I'm still just going to hit it here, because trying to negotiate around the course to the right in this wind would not be much fun. So all I'm doing here is hoping that I don't clip that tree on the left, and B, I get enough distance to make a bunker shot onto the green, which I should from there. I think 40.6, but there's a big downslope, so as long as I can get it over there, yeah, that's fine. So I'm just going to hit this full blast, to be honest, right at the hole. Moving over to the right, 8, so we're going to go a couple over, something like that. Something like that, I don't know. I'm going to hit it full blast, and hopefully the wind will have a slight effect on it, but not too much. Yeah, that's fine.
Nice approach.
So this could be a tricky one if they haven't got quite as much distance, because if you're short with the bunker shot, well, I think that's what you call a tricky one. Don't envy Dan Kim being in that position. So I think probably what's happened there is, I'm trying to work out where they are. Can I see? Nope. Where are the gaps through the trees? So he's basically put himself in the same position I was after 1. So he'll have pretty much the same bunker shot that I just played.
Perfect shot. Nice approach. For birdie.
Danielle's asking me, sorry, I've just noticed my chat, what sort of calculation did I use for that chip? I don't know which chip. My calculation was to look at where I thought it would go and kind of chip it in that direction. I don't do calculations, but I normally hit it harder than you'd think. always better to hit it quite firmly to take a bit of break off it. But I don't know. You can ask us afterwards. It's a bit iffy that. I didn't catch it right on the line because there was quite a lot of break. I could have easily missed, but 2 up with 2 to play, so draw or a win on this hole, or a half or a win, then that'll be me through to the final with all or nothing, 1 ticket to use. But let's not get ahead of myself. A 6-yard wind could make things interesting here. I'm going to play this with loft simply to make sure I get over this, because I think the wind's going to push it. Well, it's obviously going to push it significantly to the left. A lot of guesswork here. I'm going to say something like that and cross the fingers. As long as I miss that bunker, then you'd be thinking birdie. If I do miss that bunker and catch the fairway, which I have, I get a nice bounce on. Nearly. So that would have been a decent chance of an eagle. Still got a chance for the chip. And where's Dan Kim? Not sure where he is. Dan? No. Okay, right. So chip this in. So it's a little bit below me. It's going to move off to the left and it's going to come back in. I'm going to just say something like that. There you go, Danielle. That's my calculation. Really worked. But Dan Kim's only on for a par at best, so that's me through to the final, unless I do something stupid. Back to 8 watching, 8 viewers. So just need to tap this one in. With, what's the time? 24 minutes past 8 UK time. So certainly got time for the final. I wish you could say thanks, etc. when you've won, because I feel a bit bad. Sorry, Dan Kim, well played. So not played particularly good golf, but I'm in the final. Could be worse. Been a couple of decent shots, but nothing you'd be writing home about. A straight shooter needs tips like a baby needs a bottle. Alright. So final it is. We would usually get some kind of monster player in the final. Not always, but to get this far, you've got to have a certain amount of stats, really. Unless you're lucky, and unless I'm not sure if it does pay you off with lower stat players, which it might well do. It does that a bit in the match challenge. But we might have a bit of a wait here, so I'm just gonna mute it a second, have a bit of a vape. I'll come back on as soon as somebody joins us. I'm still here. I'm still waiting for an opponent. Again, I'm just taking the opportunity to vape on my electronic. What's it? So I'll mute me mic again because it makes a horrible noise. Listen. Oh, we've got an opponent. Korea 2C 2C. Don't notice any noticeable guild badge, so who knows. Rolling Hills, always a good leveler. I've been absolutely terrible at Rolling Hills for the past couple of months, to be honest. Used to be one of my favourite courses. Not so much from the higher T's, more from like 2T, 3T. But let's see how I get on today. 6-yard wins, always a challenge. I'm going to play a low shot to get through the trees. And I am going to, try and work this. It's weird playing with a mouse. I'm going to say something like that is probably about right. And I'm going to cross my fingers. The headwind with a low shot is actually in some ways going to make it go further, I think. I'm not so sure with a 6-yard wind. But yeah, that's going to roll on. It shouldn't be far away, that actually. Slow down, slow down. It's going to go off the back. That's a shame. Just stayed on the fairway, so I've got actually a decent chance with the chip. The bunker would have made it a lot harder. Still not easy. I noticed my opponent off the back there, but they'll more than likely be getting a birdie. So I'm going to not play so much break, and it's not going to run past it much at all. You notice there's a big back to front slope, so I'm going to go a little bit more, something like that. Oh, close, but no cigar. He's actually left himself a tricky putt there. That's well downhill. So there's a decent chance. That's that 1 foot downhill with a big break. Don't envy him that one. So fair play if he holds this one. And Steve P. is rather attached to the bespectacled gentleman tweed suit. Oh, look at that. What a putt. Where's my clapping? Oh, the clapping putt. There we go. So all square. I think I should be ahead on points. I made the fairway, he made the rough, and I got a perfect approach. So yeah, I'm actually 4 points clear. These ones don't come down to points so often because of the big wins and the more difficult course. Usually, someone will be up or down by the end. Not always. Oh yeah, I still don't actually. What tee are we actually from here? It's the 5th tee again, so I don't think I'm going to hit this this post, but it's a tricky one actually because I'm hitting it much harder than I normally would. It's going to draw more, and it could still quite easily hit that. But all I'm trying to do here is ensure that I don't go short.